All right, we are live. So, hello everybody. I'm back again, and today's nano learning nugget is what I'm calling five tried and tested ideas to move from change fatigue to change agility. This really stems out of my conversation yesterday on a LinkedIn Live with a colleague from Malta, Matthew Crocker. And our topic there was titled From Change Fatigue to Change Agility. And the four pieces we wanted to cover out there was why change fatigue happens, how could we recognize early signs of change fatigue, what are some practical ways to shift from burnout towards change resilience, and last but not the least, how do you build this in, right? So that change agility is not an afterthought, but you can build it in one small step at a time. So just summarizing everything out of that, I just want to bring the top five things that you could potentially try out, to move from change fatigue to change agility. And of course, for the whole thing, you're welcome to either visit us on LinkedIn Live or wait for this weekend. And I'm going to put that video also for you to watch and take reflections out of. So the very first thing I would say is to understand what is your own pace of change as a change agent, and also what is your organization's pace of change. Because if both these paces of change are very different from how the change is being driven by you or by others, also for the people impacted by the change, then obviously there's going to be a lot of misalignment. So it's really important to understand what's your own pace of change and also what is your organization's pace of change, and then co-create and co-design change accordingly. That definitely, in my experience, helps totally avoiding change fatigue to a big extent, right? And I've been impacted by this myself, and I have a big story about that, but that's for another talk. For now, that for me would be one idea. Second, I would say, like Matthew highlighted also in our own LinkedIn Live, uh, don't try and do big bang change. Go for small changes. Also, we think, why small change? Because it gives you shorter feedback loops. So it's faster, right? Faster feedback. Shorter time, you get more feedback, right? So instead of one feedback at the end of 4 weeks or a month, you get 1 week cycles of changes. So you get the opportunity for 4 feedback cycles. Why do you need faster feedback? So that you can inspect and adapt faster. And let's say, even if you are focusing just on the change fatigue, if you see early symptoms of change fatigue, you have the opportunity to action on it. So that's second. Third, I would say create continuous alignment also of yourself and people. By that, I mean check in. So let's check in on your own and your team's temperatures. Use techniques or lightweight tools like the happiness store, Nico. We can talk about this in other things, in other learning nuggets. But this is really important, just to quickly understand how's everybody feeling today on, the team. Or how are you checking in to your day to day? Are you like on a bright high note, or are you really under the weather? You don't feel passionate about going to work today? Whatever that is, just check in. How do you feel? Are you getting tired out really easily? So that would be, so how many did we cover? One, two, three. Yeah, and number four could be if you have a change that starts to fail, it's okay. Sometimes change can fail, but you need to learn from that failure. It is really important to actively learn from that change. And of course, if it's because of uncertainty, we talk a lot about how do you actively reduce uncertainty by, continuously looping around it. Goes back to having small changes, shorter feedback and faster feedback loops, etc. But here the focus is learn from change. So if you and your team are getting fatigued by one change now, don't let the same thing happen. Do a retrospective, a real retrospective, and then see how to avoid the same things in another change while either getting impacted by it or by driving it, while driving it. And last but not the least, and again, these are in no priority order or anything. Excuse me. Don't do change on top of 9 to 5. I think this was also in one of my talks with Evan Libon, who is the co-founder of the Business Agility Institute. And in one of the talks where we talk about resistance being the number one challenge, I think this was like 3 years ago, for number one challenge for business agility of an organization, he did mention to invest in the change, but let's not do change on top of 9 to 5, because what we do is change, right? You can't work on something separately over and above, because then you are investing more time on doing the change. And that means you are going to get fatigued. So remember these 5 learning nuggets, and I hope to see you with yet another nano learning bite soon next week on Monday. Do remember to like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I will just see you next time really soon on Monday, next business day. One nano learning nugget at a time. Thanks. Bye for now. Oh, and happy weekend, by the way.